And then you got other niggas riding. Why is y'all riding? All I said is, don't come back in the hood. We don't want you around. You say you don't fuck with us. We don't gotta fuck with you, Swerve, bro. And you ride like you in the city, you whatever you doing, bro. I'm at the same hood, nigga. The same spot you just brought Sexy Red and 492, nigga. I'm out here.
Don't come back in the hood. We don't want you around. Those words, spoken directly to camera by 27-year-old Jermaine JDog Harris, would be his death sentence. 6 days later, 6 shots to the back, dead in an alley on the exact block he claimed to control.
Stop that. But I would love you to come. We can sit down and talk face to face. You want to talk like a man, bro. You wanna play on the internet? Because I said my one thing, and I done watch all y'all go all night trolling and saying what y'all want to say. And if you a big dog, big homie, come talk to me face to face, nigga.
But here's the thing that'll shock you. The person who pulled the trigger wasn't who anyone expected. This isn't just another Chicago drill story. This is about a man who gambled his entire life on 15 minutes of viral fame, thinking he could challenge a multi-millionaire rapper without consequences. And what happened next? Well, let's just say the streets don't forget, and they certainly don't forgive. 27-year-old JDog wasn't just some random guy from the neighborhood. He was an NLMB gang affiliate, No Limit Muskegon Boys, one of Chicago's most notorious black disciples sets. Operating out of the 78th and Essex area in the city's South Shore and Chatham neighborhoods. This was G Herbo's original stomping ground, the very blocks where Herbert Wright, now 35 years old, built his reputation before becoming one of drill music's biggest success stories with over 60 million views on his tracks. But here's where things get twisted. See, JDog and Herbo weren't just from the same neighborhood, they knew each other personally. They'd shaken hands, they'd broken bread together. They'd even gotten into physical altercations before, with Herbo winning that fight and posting it online for clout years ago. So when JDog sat down for that now infamous interview with a platform called 16 Shadow sometime between September 23rd and 25th, 2025, he wasn't just throwing shots at some distant celebrity. He was calling out someone who knew exactly where he lived, who knew his family, who knew every single move he made on those blocks.
And then you got other niggas riding. Why is y'all riding? All I said is, don't come back in the hood. We don't want you around. You say you don't fuck with us. We don't gotta fuck with you, Swerve, bro. And you ride like you in the city, you whatever you doing, bro. I'm at the same hood, nigga. The same spot you just brought Sexy Red and 492, nigga. I'm out here. Stop bapping.
The interview went nuclear. 100,000 views in just days. And what JDog said in that interview? It was devastating. Absolutely brutal. He didn't just criticize G Herbo, he systematically dismantled the rapper's entire street cred piece by piece, exposing what he claimed were years of lies, broken promises, and fake love for the hood that made him famous. He accused the rapper of promising to buy $150 chains for the homies, never delivered. He claimed Herbo promised to sign local artists like Little 40 and Crazy James, all lies, according to JDog.
We is not on your. We trying to get you. Can all the fans ask this, right? Y'all also heard riders and all this, the fans and all this, right? If a man say he don't want to be a part of this, why do you got this shit in your name? Why do you still come around?
Think about the weight of those words for a second. JDog, a low-level gang affiliate with no security, no resources, no multi-million-dollar career to protect, just publicly banned one of drill music's biggest stars from the very block they both grew up on. He was essentially saying that G Herbo, who'd survived over 50 NLMB-linked deaths since 2010, who'd lost close friends like Fazo and Kobe to unsolved murders, who'd clawed his way out of the trenches and into mainstream success, was no longer welcome in his own neighborhood. The streets were watching, the internet was buzzing, and G Herbo, he couldn't let that slide.
Hey, look, man. I just landed in Miami right now, so I'm gonna make this real brief. I got shit to do. But it's a lot of people that's like respectable that I listen to that's trying to tell me like, yeah, don't feed into this, don't do this. That's only because I lead by example, you feel me? But sometimes you gotta make an example out of people, you know? And I'm saying all that to say, like, I get nigga my page, you can have my profile, my platform for 48 hours, 28 hours, whatever, however the long it's gonna take to delete. And that's only because they gonna forget about you in another 24 hours. But I want you to get some recognition. I want a nigga to get what they looking for out this shit if you want some clout so much. Cause we all from the same place. I thought I want you to be able to do the shit that I'm doing, because I know you can't afford a flight to Miami and a hotel and a flight back, so I'm trying to help you out.
On September 25th, G Herbo responded on Instagram, and his words were chilling in their measured, almost mocking tone. "You shook my hand, now ban me? Do it, don't talk." Herbo wrote, the kind of statement that reads like a dare. But he didn't stop there. The rapper went nuclear by reposting an old video of him beating JDog in a physical fight, essentially telling the world, "I already handled this dude once, and I can do it again." The humiliation was complete. JDog had gone viral, sure, but now he was a punchline, the guy who got beat up by the same rapper he was trying to ban from the neighborhood. The streets started talking. NLMB members were picking sides. Some agreed with JDog's assessment that Herbo had gone legit and abandoned them, following in the footsteps of other members like JDoogie, who'd previously told Herbo to stop being for the internet. Others thought JDog was clout chasing, using Herbo's name to get some shine, maybe hoping for a confrontation that would boost his own street credibility.
Too much of rap going on. Cause I'ma see niggas in face, and I'm not that guy that y'all be doing this back and forth with out here. I'm not that guy, bro. That ain't what I do, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. You niggas act like y'all been on the block, y'all outside. Niggas don't be out here, bro. Stop bapping. I've been out here since I've been out of jail, and I've been seeing what's going on.
But here's what nobody was talking about at the time, what nobody knew in those chaotic days between September 25th and September 29th. JDog wasn't just beefing with G Herbo. He'd also recently beaten up another NLMB member known as Big Op in a fight that was caught on video, and that video was circulating through the same channels where his Herbo diss was going viral. In the brutal mathematics of Chicago gang culture, JDog had just made himself a target from two different angles: the famous rapper he'd publicly disrespected and the gang member he'd publicly humiliated. 3:40 in the afternoon, September 29th, 2025. An alley near 2500 East 78th Street, the heart of NLMB territory. JDog was walking with a 19-year-old companion when a black Cadillac Escalade rolled up. When news first broke about JDog's death, the internet exploded with speculation. Social media detectives immediately pointed fingers at G Herbo, claiming the timing was too perfect to be coincidence. 6 days after the diss, 6 shots to the back? The streets were convinced this was a retaliation hit, ordered by a rapper who couldn't let the disrespect slide, who had the resources and connections to make someone disappear, who needed to send a message that you don't ban millionaires from their own blocks without consequences. But the streets were wrong. Completely, utterly, devastatingly wrong. On October 18th, 2025, federal agents dropped a bombshell. They'd arrested 37-year-old Fabius L. Shipman, an NLMB member better known on the streets as G-Fab or just Fab. And here's the kicker that changes everything. Fab was JDog's own gang brother. Same set, same block, same supposed brotherhood. This wasn't a hit from a rival gang trying to score points with G Herbo. This wasn't some elaborate conspiracy involving the rapper's security team. This was a backdoor murder, the most unforgivable sin in street culture. Killed by your own people. The ATF's criminal complaint painted a picture so clear, so damning, that it left no room for doubt. Surveillance cameras captured everything, every single second of JDog's final moments. And what those cameras showed was beyond brutal. It was methodical, calculated, and absolutely chilling. The black Escalade pulled into the alley at precisely 3:36 p.m. Fabius Shipman stepped out, and here's where it gets wild. He was carrying not one, but 2 handguns. Like something out of an action movie, this man dual-wielded pistols, one in each hand. First, he argued with JDog and the teenager. Words were exchanged, maybe threats, maybe explanations. We'll never know, because what happened next drowned out everything else. Shipman pulled both guns from his waistband and opened fire. 19 shell casings, 2 different calibers. The gunfire was so intense, so prolonged, that it sounded like a war zone in that Southside alley. JDog took 6 rounds to his back, not his chest, his back, meaning he was either running away or had already turned to flee when the bullets hit. He was pronounced dead at the scene. His body left in the same alley where he'd probably walked thousands of times growing up. The 19-year-old took a shot to the chest but somehow survived, creating the only witness to the murder besides the cameras that would eventually seal Fab's fate. But why? Why would an NLMB member murder one of his own? This is where the story gets even darker, revealing the true poison that's eating Chicago's gang culture from the inside out. It turns out the G Herbo diss was just smoke, a distraction from the real beef. Remember that video of JDog beating up Big Op? Well, Big Op wasn't just some random NLMB member. He was connected, he had allies. And apparently, one of those allies was Fabius Shipman, who decided that JDog's victory was a disrespect that required the ultimate response. JDog's cousin later went on social media, absolutely destroyed, calling out the enemies and homies situation. His emotional Instagram Live rants painted a picture of an organization rotting from within, where personal slights and ego battles mattered more than the unity that's supposed to keep everyone alive. "They set my bro up dirty NLMB," the cousin said, his voice cracking with pain and rage. The NLMB, a gang that once prided itself on loyalty and brotherhood, had devoured one of its own over a combination of wounded pride and internal power struggles. And G Herbo? He had nothing to do with it. Zero involvement. The rapper who everyone assumed ordered the hit, who took the blame in street rumors and social media conspiracy theories, was completely innocent of this particular death. But the psychological impact of that narrative is where things get truly twisted. Because even though Herbo didn't order the hit, even though federal charges prove Fab acted on his own motivations, there's an argument to be made that the diss created the environment where JDog's death became inevitable. By putting himself in the spotlight, by making himself a target for anyone who wanted to score points or settle grudges, JDog painted a target on his own back that Fab simply decided to hit. The federal case against Shipman is airtight. He's being charged as a felon in possession of ammunition under Title 18, Section 922G of the U.S. Code, which carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 to 15 years. But here's the devastating twist that makes this case even more egregious. Fab was already on pre-trial release for another felony, an evading arrest charge from Posen, Illinois, where he fled from a traffic stop. The man who murdered JDog should have been behind bars already, prevented from ever getting near that alley, blocked from ever having the opportunity to pull those triggers. The federal complaint's evidence is overwhelming. An ATF agent submitted testimony showing that an ex-Chicago Police Department specialist identified Shipman from the surveillance video by his distinctive limp and injury from his years in the streets that made him immediately recognizable. A Posen police officer confirmed the identification by matching Shipman's burgundy and white Chicago White Sox hat, the same hat he'd been wearing during a February body cam encounter. The video evidence, the ballistics, the witness testimony, everything points to one conclusion. Fabius Shipman murdered Jermaine Harris in cold blood, and he did it for reasons that had more to do with internal gang politics than any diss of a famous rapper. Shipman's criminal history makes him the perfect candidate for federal prosecutors to flip. In 2019, he was convicted of federal cocaine trafficking and served 5 years in federal prison. He knows how the system works. He knows what federal time feels like. And at 37 years old, facing potentially 30 to 50 years behind bars if convicted on all charges, he's exactly the type of defendant who prosecutors love to pressure into cooperation. The feds are playing chess, not checkers. They want Shipman to talk. They want him to expose NLMB's entire structure, the leadership hierarchy, the drug operations, the murder conspiracies, everything that could fuel a RICO case that would sweep up dozens of members and finally break the gang's grip on the South Side. Street sources are putting the odds of Shipman cooperating at 90%, and if he does flip, if he decides that dying in prison isn't worth protecting people who would probably kill him anyway, the fallout will be catastrophic for NLMB. On October 14, 2025, JDog's funeral took place. It was a subdued ceremony, nothing like the massive street send-offs that usually mark the death of gang members in Chicago. No live streams drawing thousands of viewers. No big-name rappers paying respects. No crowds of supporters shutting down entire blocks in a show of unity and grief. Instead, it was quiet, muted, almost ashamed, because how do you celebrate someone who was killed by their own supposed family? But while the streets mourned in their complicated, conflicted way, another narrative was playing out online that revealed just how toxic and tribal Chicago's gang culture has become. Lil Bibby, a rapper from O-Block NLMB's sworn rivals, posted a photo on Instagram that sent shockwaves through both gangs. The picture showed Bibby smiling alongside two associates, looking healthy, successful, and very much alive. No caption was needed. The message was crystal clear: we outlasted you. In a culture where ops usually attack each other through diss tracks or actual violence, Bibby chose a different route. He let NLMB's internal destruction speak for itself. While JDog was being murdered by his own gang member, while NLMB was tearing itself apart from the inside, O-Block was unified, thriving, surviving. Bibby's post was propaganda gold, a soft power move that damaged NLMB's reputation more than any diss track or shooting ever could. JDog's family has remained largely silent, with only a GoFundMe campaign raising approximately $10,000 for funeral expenses. There are no mainstream media interviews, no high-profile attorneys filing lawsuits, no viral press conferences demanding justice. Because in Chicago's South Side, this is just another day, another body, another family that has to pick up the pieces while the world moves on to the next tragedy, the next viral video, the next preventable death. Do you think JDog's death was uncalled for, or he had it coming? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.